review on the role of artificial intelligence in medication management. This at this point, um, in not just in Nigeria but in the country, AI is what is in vogue. So it's very necessary that we do a systematic review at this time. So I'm so excited, just like I said earlier, and I'm looking forward to having a wonderful time with you this evening. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Rejoicing, for that introduction. The next person I want to introduce himself tonight is our lead. He is the founder of Centicini team in the person of David Innocent. So can you talk to us, sir? Introduce yourself and tell us more about your research lab.
Hey, thank you very much, my director of research. My name is David Innocent. I am a PhD student at University of Port Harcourt, and currently I lead the machine learning and computational research cluster. So currently in our lab, I will be very much open in welcoming uh, individuals and students, professionals who are interested in publishing evidence-based reviews in that is in line with machine learning. Currently, my PhD, I am currently working on neglected tropical diseases, that's using machine learning approaches in for recognizing skin manifesting neglected tropical diseases in that's using machine learning for identification of skin manifesting neglected tropical disease. I think that's a better way. So will be really it will be a very massive opportunity to have individuals who would want to work on systematic reviews around machine learning join my cluster. So I want to say a very big thank you, and I look forward to having you guys on board in my cluster. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. David Innocent, for that. The next person I'll be introducing herself tonight is Olivia Udo. She'll talk about herself. We're trying to rush with time because by 6:30 p.m. we should be done with this session. So Olivia, quickly tell us about yourself. Tell us about your lab.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Olivia Udo, a member of Centicini team, obviously, and the environmental health and climate change. Basically, we carry out research in so I think this is very important because it's something that is urgent. Yeah, because recently we've noticed that we are having a lot of heat. Um, People who produce foods are having issues with food production because of climate change and the rest. So I feel like it's something that is very, very important to search on, you know, contribute to the community and the society search. So I'll be leading this that. Welcome. Thank you.
Stem cell teas has been one part of the market, and everybody's just talking about stem cell teas and how they consume it. So our research basically works on traditional medicine, finding out things about stem cell, about the health of the people that consume these products. So I welcome everyone for this conversation tonight, and just stay tuned. A great one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juliet. So, promise Chukwemeka, we need you to quickly introduce yourself too. He'll be the last person to introduce himself before we go over to the business of the day. So, promise, quickly tell us about yourself and about your lab. Quickly, 2 minutes, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kwameka Promise. I'm the cluster lead for global health and infectious disease. So, in global health and infectious disease, we study about the worldwide, and it just goes beyond, national borders. We focus on health issues that affect multiple countries that require international cooperation. So you look at organizations like World Health
Sorry,
Organization,
Chukwemeka,
Institute.
I could barely hear you. Can you speak up a little bit?
Okay, is it clear now?
Better.
Can you hear me now?
It's better now. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so like I was saying, I said that in my cluster we look at global health and the practice of improving health and achieving health equity for people globally. So it just goes beyond now health issues that affect multiple countries and as well require international cooperation. So I implore you to stay tuned and enjoy the time that you are going to have with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Promise. Okay, let me introduce. My name is Precious Anyakora, and I will be your moderator for tonight. I am the Director of Research Operations for Centicini team, and my research cluster is the Chronic Disease Epidemiology Cluster, where we carry out research around diabetes, around hypertension, around cancer, and every kind of chronic diseases. So we seek to find out what's going on, especially for me personally, I love to talk about hypertension. So because, there is a current prevalence among younger people, so I love to carry out research around hypertension. So if these research clusters interests you, like my own research clusters, or like Olivia research clusters, like traditional medicine cluster, the infectious disease cluster, if any of them interests you, please go over to our website, sensini.com, click on internship and register for our upcoming internship program that is scheduled to start by deadline is 26th of this month. So it's scheduled to start by beginning of May. So register quickly and join that training because it's going to be very rigorous, day-to-day, rigorous training skill, the ability to carry out your schematic review independently. Okay, so tonight we are going to be talking about we're going to just be having conversation around how we can carry out a systematic review in 1 month, just 1 month, how we can write, do everything that has to do with systematic review and come out with a conclusion in 1 month. Okay, we are already 17 minutes down our time. So let me start by welcoming each and every one of us to Centicini Research Lab. First of all, most people believe that carrying out a systematic review takes 6 months, some 1 year. But today I and the facilitators for tonight's session, we will be talking about how we can do a short snippet somewhere in the process, this song is exactly for you. So, okay, get your pen and paper, because you're going to understand step by step how you can move from drafting a research to how you can move from having just a research idea to preparing a structured question, to finding evidence for publication. One, this section as how you can define research question will tell us tonight. All the solution this question. How many of us have written a literature review before? Tell me in the chat box. Tell me if you have ever written a literature review before, any type, just tell us in the chat box, okay? Now, I want us to know this key difference between, because a lot of people will mix it together. Many people don't know the difference between a literary review and a systematic review. Because in both of them, what we do is gather evidence together. Okay, so many people struggle to differentiate between a regular literary review and normal systematic. Now, this is the difference. Pay attention. You can get a pen and paper and note this. Literature review tells us what has been written, but a systematic review tells us what all the evidence actually says. I don't know if I'm making sense, but note that a systematic review just tells us what has been written by this author, different authors. But a systematic review tells us what the evidence, like a kind of gather everything together and tell us what else. Join me. Please, we want this session to be very, very interactive. Okay, so whatever thing you want to say, please put down. Be responsive. Okay, just use the chat box. All right. Thank you. Now, I want to tell us a little story. I don't during your thesis writing or dissertation writing, or as an academic or as a student, I know many of us here have at one point carried out a systematic review. Before, even not a systematic review, sorry, a literature review. Now, how do you carry out a literature review? Let me start with, I'm starting with literature review, okay? Before you come to papers to carry out a literature review on, you first of all pick a topic, right? You pick a topic and you say, oh, this is my area. Like for instance, I like to carry out my research around hypertension. So I will not You are following. I hope you are following me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now I've retrieved all these papers from Google Scholar. Probably I've gotten like 20 papers from Google Scholar. Okay, I'm trying to carry out probably a systematic review or a literature review. Now, the first paper has told me that uh, has said uh, 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 was effective. No, amlodipine is effective. Or the one that said amlodipine is partially effective, or the one that said not effective. Okay. Now, what you next, your next instinct is to start reporting what you found. Okay. This David found that amlodipine is so and so. This person et al said that amlodipine, you now reported. But what you, at the end of the day, what you just did was you've been able to summarize these papers into what? You have practically summarized this evidence, all the evidence that you've gathered around this topic. Okay, which gives us what? A literature review. Are you all following me? But this is where a systematic review is different. It removes the guesswork. You don't have to guess. You don't need to say, okay, I'm not sure. Because systematic review raises that uncertainty. You don't know what is the truth for literature review. Okay, but systematic review, you don't have to guess. It will give you the direct conclusion of the matter. It will give you the direct conclusion as a systematic review. It removes that confusion, it removes the guesswork, and it gives you a clear and structured way to actually know what the evidence is saying. Okay? So in simple terms, what is a systematic review? A systematic review is defined as a structured, transparent, and reproducible way of doing what? Identifying, selecting, and synthesizing research evidence. I hope you are following. Systematic review is what? There are three main characteristics that defines a systematic review. These three, you can't, if you don't find them, what you're writing is not a systematic review. If you can't find this in your paper, systematic, all you're writing is out of. First, that systematic review must be structured. It must be structured. Second, it must be transparent. You have to report everything you do. You have to report it. And third, that it must be reproducible. Because whenever a different researcher wants to carry out a research under your topic, they must be able to arrive at
And that's lecture, then get seminar then. Yeah.
Is anyone saying something?
Continue, yeah.
Okay. So as I was saying, these three things defines a systematic review: the structure, the transparency, and what? The reproducibility. So these are the ways whereby we do what? We don't just identify papers, we select papers and we synthesize the research evidence to get what? A particular clear conclusion, to arrive at what? A specific clear conclusion. This is the reason why we carry out a systematic review to get a conclusion. But why literature review will only show us what papers, all different papers says, what is available, what different authors said. A systematic review will tell us the conclusion of the matter. Are you following me? Now, why does this matter? Why is systematic review? Why do we even carry out a systematic review? Why do we need a systematic review? Is it even that important? So now, this is why systematic review is important. One is because it sits at the hierarchy, the evidence hierarchy, the top of the evidence hierarchy. That's where systematic review sits comfortably. Is number one. It's informed because it's number one. Policymakers are able to, instead of going through different papers to check what was found, they can easily go to a systematic review and see what was concluded. Are you following? Now, number one is that it sits where at the top of the evidence hierarchy. Number two is that systematic review, I hope you are writing this down, okay? Number two is that systematic review is very much valued, is important in academia. You can't do away with it. Especially if you are doing your master's or PhD, you can't do away with it. You must carry out a systematic review at some point. Okay? And it's also important in global health research too. Is that systematic review improves your chances of publication. Yes, it does. It improves your what? Because of how important it is. Many journals will always accept your systematic review over other kinds of reviews. Are you following? They will always choose systematic review to publish over literature review, over narrative reviews. Okay, because of what? It is very credible. Now, I want us to talk about the mistakes a lot of people make while carrying out systematic review. What are the mistakes? Many people will go over and choose topics that are very broad, something that is so broad, and now their evidence, they can't get to a conclusion. Their topic is broad, is vague. Are you following? Second mistake people make is that they don't develop a protocol. They go straight to immediately writing systematic review. Immediately, they don't even develop a protocol. Okay, and that significantly reduces the rigorousness of a systematic review. It reduces significantly because everything you do in systematic review is predetermined. You have to prepare it beforehand before you even start the process. You have to beforehand prepare everything you're going to do. Okay, so many people make this mistake of skipping that protocol development, but it's the first thing that shows that your systematic review is highly robust and rigorous. The next mistake that people make is they don't develop a good search strategy. Some people don't use many databases. Some people can only go and search only one database, and that's all. They don't go and check other databases. They don't develop mesh terms they don't develop keywords to a point whereby you can be able to now retrieve a large number of papers for them. So which will now make them miss out on so many important papers. Okay? So these are the mistakes people make while developing. And at the end of the day, they'll not be like, I didn't find paper and I couldn't find evidence that meets my criteria, But there are many evidence out there that you can get, that you can be able to derive your conclusion from. Okay, but you have to do what? Develop your search strategy to be very, very broad. You have to develop that search strategy, make it very strong. The next mistake is that many people introduce bias during screening. Many people they don't use the appropriate tool for that to screen their papers to check how credible the findings of the papers that they want to use to inform their evidence is. They don't use the appropriate tool. So all of these things are what we are going to be seeing tonight from our facilitators. They will tell us how we can prepare a good research question. Another person will tell us how to prepare, how to screen papers. Another person will tell us how to research strategy. Another person will tell us the critical appraisal. Another person the synthesis. Okay, so stay tuned and do not go anywhere. All right. Now that we've understood the foundation of systematic review, we are going to go over to the research question. Okay. Why do we develop a research question? Because a weak question will always lead to a weak review. Are you following me? A weak question, if you don't develop your question properly, it will always lead to a weak review. That's when you're trying to publish, you'll not be getting rejection, because your topic is already weak. So it will most likely lead to a very weak review. So you have to do what? Develop a clear, good research question. So at this point, I want to hand over to Juliet, who will walk us through how we can develop a very strong research question. Over to you, Juliet.
Thank you, my precious. That's a very nice one. And welcome everyone again.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, please.
We'll be talking now topic. Can you hear me?
Of course, we can.
Okay. Now, building a strong research foundation, that's what I call it. Because a topic is a strong foundation of systematic review. So, when building a strong, we are going to start from the from topic selection to study scope. So, stay tuned, and you're going to learn a lot from this section. Then, a topic is clearly a topic is the directions. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was breaking, but we can hear
Hello, can
you.
you hear me?
Yes, of course, we can.
Okay. Okay. A topic is a clearly defined subject that guides the direction, scope, and purpose of a research study. There are some things that what this thing means is that a topic defines the subject. Like whenever you want to have anything, like when we are in the subject, it's the first point of any
Your network is bad. We can't hear you. It's breaking.
first thing that you see, first step that you see in every systematic review, because every systematic review or any kind of review. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. So what I'm saying is a topic is a very important aspect of every research, and without it, there is no research. Now, one of the things that you consider while choosing a topic is relevance. It's relevant. Is it important? Do people really will your audience appreciate the topic that you develop? One, you must consider your audience, people that are going to read your paper, people that are going to listen to your paper, people that are going to carry out research. Will they want to really do this? Is it researchable? Is it important? How relevant is your topic? Then it should be every topic should be and focused. a direction. Okay, for an example, you want to talk okay, a direction. Can you hear me?
Juliet, we could barely hear you. It was breaking a lot. Can you go to somewhere you can get more better network, please? Is so that our audience could actually benefit from this. Okay.
I'm trying. Even. Okay, sorry, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I heard
I'm
what you
really
said now.
sorry. It's raining. It's raining here, so the network is bad.
Okay, you go
So
ahead.
okay, thank you. So I said is your topic should be something that is clear and focused. It should be very, very focused. You know what you are researching on. You don't just carry a topic and you say, okay, I want to do HIV without it having a focus and a direct a clear a systematic review. You should go to databases, search for research, search for literatures, things that have been done about this topic, especially if you are doing a systematic review and you want to choose a topic. It's very, very important for you to go to a Prospero. Is a tool, is a database that you can go to search. Most researchers that do on systematic review, they go there and they register their systematic their topic. So when you go there, you can search your topic. You can put your topic on the search box and search if your work has been done, or if there is any related um if your topic is have any related work already, then you cannot choose that topic. You have to work for another. You have to choose another topic, or restructure your topic. Then make a topic strong. Your topic should be very strong. It should be specific and defined, researchable, interesting, solves a problem. It should solve a problem. You are not carrying a research for you not to have an outcome. It should have an outcome. It should have either a good outcome. Okay, after this, like for an example, you're carrying a research on HIV again, and at the end of it, how are we going to, let's just say we are talking about the management of HIV. At the end of your results, how your research, how what is the outcome, what is the it does it solve the problem, did you give a clear and outcome of your work? What did you do? So every research should solve a problem. It should be interesting, very, very interesting, especially when it comes to, most people will just want to read your abstract. So if you have a good subject, if you have a good topic, sorry, it should be able to treat a problem. Then another way you can choose a better subject, a better topic rather, is using the PICO, which is the population, intervention, comparison and outcome. So the population, for an example, I give an example. Population, then the people that you are actually directing that incident to. Okay, let's just talk about diabetes or gestational diabetes. Then when you're talking about this, should be directed to pregnant women, right? Should be for pregnant women. Um, So let's just say adults with hypertension. We know that mostly hypertension happens to adults um, from 18 to 70, 80, so the mostly your population there is the adults, the people that it is happening to, the population that your topic is directing to. Then the second one is the intervention. The intervention is low salt diet. Low salt diet. So your intervention is how what they are not supposed to do, like um are they people that have hypertension, we know mostly is high salt intake. Now if they should reduce the way they consume their salt, low salt intake, then the hypertension rates can be reduced. Then regular diet, they should regulate their the comparison. It can be they can regulate their diet. The blood pressure might be outcome might be the blood pressure, reduction of the blood pressure, or maybe if the person's blood pressure is really really high, then it can be reduced. So another, we can look at the clear research question. Clear research question. What is a research question? A research question is a structured and answerable query that guides the design, data collection, and analysis of a study. That a research question is a structured and answerable query that guides the design, data collection, and analysis of a study. For what affects the health, like for an example, we are using, okay, let's continue stick to the hypertension. What affects what affects patients? Okay, what triggers hypertension? Let's use what triggers hypertension. Why are people having hypertension? Now you choose a topic. Let's choose okay, HIV mortality, the pattern trend and implications, a thematic review. Then your research question can be your are you can you hear me? Hello? Is anyone there?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes, we can
you.
hear you.
Go ahead. You can hear you.
Okay. So like I said, you choose a topic um on hypertension. So you can sorry, I was talking about HIV. So you choose a topic on the HIV, the mortality and the mortality pattern, and so your first question, or maybe you are trying to synthesize or trying to find out the HIV mortality pattern trend in pregnant women. So it should be well structured. Your question should be well designed. So it should be very clear, focused, answerable with data. Maybe you're looking at pregnant women in, let's just say, in a particular local government. So when you go online, you are going to see, okay, when you go to search your primary sources, you can see that these people have so number of HIV, in pregnant women that have number of HIV, then it should be relevant to a real problem. Then clearly, protocol was saying something about protocol. So a protocol is you want to go to the market, you can say, okay, when you want to do a wedding, you can going to do this. You have a list of what you're going to do. That's the same way the protocol have a list of what people are looking at, researchers are looking at in your protocol. So you have a list. It's have a study design. It can be cross sectional. This can be case control. Case control. Then study population. What are income countries? Are we looking at high income countries? Are we looking at Nigeria? Are we looking at what? Where are we looking at? Where is your research focusing? Where is your research focused? Then data collection method. How will the data be collected? What studies are you going to review to collect your data from? Then inclusion and exclusion criteria, the things that you are supposed to include and the things that you're supposed to remove, the things that you add, the things that your studies needed. The inclusion, what this study needs, like when you're talking about hypertension in pregnant women, okay, now it's going to include pregnant women that of childbearing from 15 years to 40 years or so. So it should include maybe women that of their mothers that attending antenatal. All those things is what is supposed. So it shouldn't include men. And then you can look at, okay, is your research focused on in English? Is it in English, French, or any kind of maybe German? And also what's your research, the inclusion is what you're going to use. Okay, this is what I'm actually looking for. So then, and what you're not, your exclusion, the things that is not needed, like since you're working on pregnant women, you're not supposed to add men to it. You're not, it's focused on English. So are you going to your like reduce bias, reduce the kind of what things that you know that you're not going to use this, but you just want to add it so your work will look very big, and people will want to just read it. Why it is not required is not what this research is looking at. Then defining the outcome. A research outcome tells you what you are trying to observe or determine at the end of your research. Example, blood pressure level, disease occurrence, recovery rates. So that's what I explained earlier. Your outcome tells you what you are trying to observe or determine at the end of every research. Your outcome is what you like. It's just like when you are running a 100-meter race. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. We are working with time. Okay. So please, you have 2 minutes left. Okay, can you just conclude so that another person can it's already almost okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, ma'am. Then we look at the scope. Scope of a study shows how far your study will go and what it will cover, which includes the population, location, time frame, then variables. Bringing it together, strong. You choose a very strong topic. When you are choosing a strong topic, you need a pico framework, or you need a framework that will guide you on how to choose. There are plenty frameworks that you can even develop one by yourself. You can choose a framework that will help you to select in your topic selection. Then you need a clear question. Then you need a defined scope. Then, in conclusion, strong foundation, better results, improve research impact. Then, thank you and remain blessed.
Thank you so much, Juliet, for that presentation. It's really an awesome one. Although the network came to disorganize us, but thank God we were able to get everything you have to tell us today. Thank you very much. It was really insightful to learn from you. And I want to add to what Juliet said. She talked about developing a protocol, how we can develop our research question, how you can develop our protocol. And like I said before, these are the things that you do before you even start writing the paper. You develop your research question first. After you've developed that research question, prepare a protocol. It's like a proposal. When I say protocol, many people tend to misunderstand what that means. It's just proposal. The way you write your thesis proposal do you understand me? So that is how you write your protocol. You are trying to tell us what you will do in this thematic review, how you will, the kind of design it will take, the kind of operation that you're going to work with, how you are going to, the kind of search strategy you are going to use, the databases that you're going to search. That's basically what your protocol should contain. Everything that has to do with how your systematic review is expected to look like when it's done. So because it's predetermined, you have to decide beforehand, before you write the paper properly, you have to decide, this is what I'm going to do here and there and all that. Then after you are done deciding, preparing your protocol, you go straight to Prospero. Write it down. Prospero is Prospero. Prospero. That is where you register your systematic review. Once you prepare the protocol, you go straight to Prospero to do what? Register your systematic review. And in preparing your protocol, you can use the Prisma protocol guideline. It's available online. Just type in Prisma P on Google. You can download the Prisma protocol guideline, which will show you a structure you're going to follow to prepare your protocol registration. So that is that for protocol development. Then for research question, like Juliet said, we use different tools for preparing our research question. We use the PICO. She mentioned the PICO and the PECO framework. So, but there are more frameworks. Okay, we have the PIO framework, we have the PEO framework, we have the SPIDER, we have the SPICE, we have a lot of them. Okay, so depending on your research topic, depending on your research or the kind of study you want to carry out, you have to choose the framework you are going to use to prepare your research topic. Okay, depending on what you want to, if you want to carry out a quantitative topic on effect measure or anything, you have to know that you're going to go through using PICO framework or PIO framework to prepare your research questions. But if you're going to carry out a qualitative systematic review, you know that you're going to use SPIDER, SPICE, PEO to prepare your research question. These are all the frameworks that you can. There are still more. You can just browse about it. So let's go back to the next person that would walk us down on how we are going to develop our search strategy. So, Olivia, you have the floor now.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, but your voice is very faint. Can you speak up and unmute yourself? Unmute yourself.
Yes. So I'm trying to can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So let me try and share this 1 second. All right. So I don't know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. So once again, good day, everyone. So today I'll be talking about um search for studies. We are not just we are learning to build a defensible, systematic review. So
Olivia, your voice is still very low. You can barely hear you.
it's also raining here. I don't know if that's why. Can you hear me now?
I heard what you just said now. So probably can keep up that volume.
Okay. Yeah. My laptop is very close to me now. Okay. So you can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I said a systematic review is only as strong as its search strategy. So there is something our boss at Centicini normally says that if you're carrying out a systematic and you have a child that is carrying out a systematic review and you have an adult carrying out the same systematic review, let's say the same topic, same title, their results at the end of the day should be the same thing. So that should be the difference between systematic review and every other review, or would I say stuff, right? So by the time we are done with session, you'll be able to understand. So first of all, let me start with where to find our study. So when you're carrying out a systematic review, it's not advised for you to just get your
We
database
cannot
one.
hear you. I don't know if it's only
Please,
me.
your voice is too low. Too low.
Yes, we cannot hear
Can you
you.
hear me now?
No, when you started, the voice improves, but as you go on, your voice started getting low and lower.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Can you- Is it
I
loud
believe you are
now?
having network problem. Yes, to be honest, you are having network.
If you are joining
Yes.
with laptop, I suggest you join with your phone and speak through your phone.
Okay, let me see if I can. I'm also having network thing with my phone. So, how do this?
Olivia, you're welcome back.
Yes, I'm here. I'm still having network challenge with my phone. So I don't know.
What
Can
did
you
you
hear
say?
me now?
No, it's still very low. What did you
I
say?
said I am trying to connect with my phone, but I'm still having the same problem. I'm still having the same challenge.
But we can hear you now. What happened that we
Okay.
were able to hear you now? Did you speak into your phone or
So the rain
probably?
has stopped. The rain has reduced.
Okay. Anyone
Okay,
that
so can
works,
I
I can share this.
continue?
Yeah. Continue.
Okay. So, like I said, I was saying that for okay. Can you see my screen?
No.
Okay.
Olivia, we can't see your
All
screen.
right. So, can you see it now?
No. I can share the screen for you. Olivia, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Can I share the screen for you?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So please, can we go to like
Yeah.
slide?
You can send me the other slides, or you can use this one.
Okay. So I was saying, I said for now systematic review it, you have to you have to make sure that you're not using one database, because when you're using one database, your research is going to be biased, and this is systematic review, right? So when you're searching, there are different places where you can find studies. There is PubMed, there is Scopus, there is Web of Science, there is Google Scholar. I think Google Scholar basically encompasses everything, right? There are just so many databases to get your data from. But what I want us to go home with from this slide is that you have to use multiple databases. You understand? You have to use multiple databases to be able to get findings and for you not to be biased in your search. So the second is, breaking research questions into keywords. The second slide explains how you can break research questions into keywords. So now the first presenter had already spoken to us about the frameworks, right? So we have so many frameworks, and these frameworks helps us to kind of, identify keywords. So for example, let's say I would always use something relating to environmental health, right? So let's say you have a topic that has to do with waste handlers, being let me just look for a title. Okay, let's say we are checking for how contaminants or toxins affect waste handlers, and the health effects that it has on them, right? So this particular title now, there are keywords there. There might be a linker, but there are things that you can't do without, and those things are keywords. So for example, let's say waste handlers, right? It's very important because it's a keyword. Let's say contaminants, it's a keyword. Contaminants is a keyword. The health effect is also a keyword. So now when you have these keywords, when you put them together, that's what makes a framework. That is why Ms. Precious was talking to us about the different frameworks, right? And she said, I would just say, like, summarize what she said, right? That you use a particular framework according to what your title, or will I say what your title. That is the framework that you use. For example, let's take for instance this particular title, or let's say topic that I just spoke about. You will find out that the PICO framework works better. Why? Because the topic, it has a population, um it has an exposure, right? It has or intervention, it has an outcome. So it depends on whatever topic they are discussing. That would um explain the framework you use, right? So what I want us to take out from this particular side, or like say slide, is that one concept equals multiple keywords, right? So for example, we also bring in synonyms to this, right? Because if you're searching for something, for example, when you go, I just be searching for waste handlers, right? Meanwhile, there are sanitation workers, and they equate to waste handlers basically. So now, if you're just looking for waste handlers, that means the important database that you can extract from a database that has sanitation workers. You are searching for you searching you don't just search for waste handlers. You don't just search contaminants. If you're searching for contaminants, you also look for synonyms. They are similar to contaminants. When you say, for example, you say symptoms, illness, sickness, all of them, they are kind of similar, right? So let's go over to Boolean operators. So all of these are just concepts. Search something that is to make a very good search, basically. So when we talk of Boolean operators, we have the or, the and the not. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, the Boolean operators, when you are searching for a particular study, Boolean operators help you to be able to narrow down your search, right? So, for example, we have all and not. So, all is more or less like synonym, right? Just like what I said before. For example, you are searching for a particular keyword in a database. Now you have to put all, or will I say every synonym relating to the keyword that you're searching for, to be able to get all the studies that have that keyword, right? Take for instance, you have waste handlers, you have sanitation workers. I don't know, somebody should give me something else in the chat box, right? Something that is similar. So when you bring them together and you use the Boolean operator or, right, and you combine them together, you say waste handler or sanitation worker or this or that. You understand? By the time you bring it together and you put it and you search it right in the database, that means you are getting all the papers that has all these things included in them. And that is why these Boolean operators are very important. Now, when we talk of and, which is part of the Boolean operator, what it does is that it combines ideas. So now you have waste handler as a keyword, right? And you have a contaminant as a keyword. You have health symptoms as a keyword. All these are what makes up your title. By the studies that encompasses all of this, that combines all of these ideas. So what it does is that it excludes the things that are not in your title or in what you are searching for. In your title, waste handlers are in your title, health symptoms are in your title, contaminants are in your title. But let's say air pollution. Air pollution is not in. So it's not when you are searching, you will be getting something that is not in your title, right? Remember what I said before I started all this thing, that in a systematic review, if a child is carrying out a systematic review and an adult is carrying out a systematic review and it's the same title, it's expected that you have an outcome that is the same result. So let's go over to reference management. So it is important to, I want to put this out there before I continue, that it is important that for every single step you carry out in your systematic review as you write, it is important that you document. So what Zotero and Mendeley, which is a reference management, it helps you to manage your references, right? These are tools that help you to manage your references. So what it does is that it helps you to document your references perfectly. It stores articles, it removes duplicates, organizes your studies perfectly, and also inserts citation. Another thing is that it also saves time, because imagine just manually trying to gather all your references. You yourself, you won't be tired, right? But this helps you to kind of manage all your references together. So these are this is also what we are going to be going very much in depth by the time we start our internship proper. So what I want you to take out of this is that you just have to start organizing anything that you're going to write in your systematic review from day one. And a very good way to do that is to have a reference management tool. You can use Zotero, you can use Mendeley. I mean, we're going to, like I said, we're going to go in depth into it by the time.
Yeah, are you still here?
Like
I can't hear you anymore. Can anyone hear her?
Can use a particular.
No.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's the last slide. Olivia, thank you very much for that presentation.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. So, but then I think this is your last slide, yeah? So, we can hear you, but Olivia, our time is up. You've exhausted 20 minutes of our time, so we have to get over to the next presenter for tonight. Our time is against us. Thank you very much for that presentation, Olivia. Although the network was really bad, your voice was at many points your voice was low, but then we were able to get a lot of things from the search strategy. So I'm sure that every one of us here can be able to develop their research question and ask and prepare their search strategy. If you cannot, if you have any question, please kindly drop it in the chat box. Okay. So our next step is narrowing things down systematically and efficiently. Okay. Because after preparing search strategy, the next thing is we are going to prepare is next we're going to do is to screen our studies. So for that, I'm going to hand over to the person that will tell us how we can screen our papers efficiently. Okay. So, Promise, you have the floor. Go ahead.
All right. Good day, everyone. At any point that you can't hear me, please do well to call my attention. All right. So, we've actually said quite a number of things about systematic review. We've said quite a number of things, and those things are very remarkable. Number one is we really need to understand that systematic review is a high-level research. It's a secondary research. So you don't really have to go into the field to start picking data, but there's something that is very pertinent about that. You gather studies that have already been done. You gather studies that have already been done. But where the problem lies is once you search for a study online, you go to Google Scholar, you go to PubMed, or any database that you have decided to use for your systematic review search, and then you get there, you decide to search for the study that you're working on. You don't just get one study or two studies or three. You get thousands, sometimes in hundreds, sometimes thousands, and you don't have to start going through all of them one at a time. So that is the major problem that we face when it comes to study screening. You search on database, and what are you seeing? Thousands of papers. So how do you now filter them properly? How do you filter them properly? So now imagine you get 5,000 articles, but a systematic review only needs about 20 to 30 high quality studies. How do you now go from thousands of studies to just the relevant ones? That is what screening is all about. So permit me to say that screening is a process wherein you go from thousands to specific. You are trying to streamline. You just want to get it down, narrow it down to the relevant ones you want. You are not looking at all the studies, all right? So today I'll be walking us through how this screening process works in every way, and we'll be looking at filter studies, how we filter studies, how we screen titles and abstracts, what we look for in full text tools that make the process easier, and finally, how we report everything using Prisma, right? So screening, like I said initially, is simply a step-by-step decision-making process. It is not about reading everything at once. It is not about guessing. You are not guessing whether this study is relevant to what I'm trying to do. It is about gradually, you are taking a gradual process, removing what is not relevant. Okay, think of it like filtering water. Now, when you get a water, you don't just drink it immediately. Water that you know that it has not been boiled to 100 degrees centigrade, which is the boiling point of water, and you are sure that water is clean. You now get water, and to you, you are looking at this water. It doesn't seem clean to you. You don't just start drinking immediately, right? You have to start filtering. You have to filter. Either you use a filter funnel, or probably you try to use an alum. So it's a step-by-step. You have to filter it for it to become clean before you start drinking. So in systematic reviews, that is the same thing we do with studies. You don't just pick studies from anywhere and you come in and you want to use it for the review. When Miss Juliet was talking, she made mention of something. She said that the quality of your systematic review lies on the studies that you used. The quality of your systematic review lies on the studies that you've used. All right. So if your studies are not of high quality, if they are just random studies that are not talking about what you are looking at, then your systematic review may at the end of the day not be reproducible. All right. So first, what do? We talk about removing duplicates, then we screen titles and abstracts, then we read full text, and finally we keep only the most relevant studies. Now, if you look at this picture here, look at this picture on my slide, you will see that this is a kind of a screening process of two colors, like individuals who have two colors. We have the red ones and we have the blue ones. Now, when we come to title and abstract screening, which is the first step, in screening process. You first of all screen the title and the abstract. Now, when you come to this stage, what you are looking at is you search for, let's say you are looking for hypertension, studies that have relevance to hypertension. Now, you are not thinking too much here. What you are looking for are studies that have relevance to hypertension, all right? So if you are searching on Google Scholar or PubMed and you see studies that are not talking about hypertension, but are talking about diabetes mellitus, you definitely would not want to have anything to do with this. So what do? You remove. So you are not thinking, you are not overthinking it here. At this point in time, you are considering the titles. Does the titles match? Because obviously, if the titles is not matching with what you are looking for, then there's no need to go further. But at a point where you are confused, if you are confused, you are in doubt, you are not sure if this thing maybe is looking like there's hypertension, it's talking about hypertension and diabetes mellitus, and they are talking about comorbidities. So, well, it might be relevant, it may not be. You might decide to keep it because after title and abstract screening, you have to move over to the full test screening. All right. So, so at every stage, you are simply asking, does this study match my research question or not? Your research question at every point in time should be in your head. Does it really match my research question? If it doesn't, then you move. So at this point, we are not reading the full paper when it comes to title and abstract. You are not reading the full paper. It's fast thinking. So the title and the abstract, which is the summary, this stage is about quick decisions. We are trying to remove studies that are obviously not relevant. So we ask very simple questions. You understand, like who is being studied? What is being studied? What outcome is being measured? These three questions. Now, if it clearly does not match our research question, we exclude it. If it looks relevant, we keep it. And here is a very important truth that you have to keep in mind. You don't need to overthink, like I've said, obviously, you don't need to overthink. So if you are not sure, you keep the study and move it to the next stage. Now, look at this. You are looking at a study that says your topic is talking about hypertension in adults. And then you are looking at a title that is talking about hypertension in children. It's obviously not in line with your research question. So what do? You simply do what? You simply remove. Now, we move over gradually to the second stage of screening, which is the full test review. So after we have moved to the full test review, now, at this point, is different. Do you understand? This is where you become strict. And